Today, I'd like to do kind of a response video to a video that I posted a few weeks ago. It was a video that people either loved or hated it. There really wasn't an in-between. It was a video in which I pretended that my friend Ryan's Road King Special was a bike that I got, and I gave the impression, I didn't outright say, but I gave the impression that I got rid of my Sporty here. And it caused a bit of a kerfuffle. Most of the comments were really good. A couple of people left comments and then later deleted their comments. So if you're one of those, I saw your original comment, I'll say that. There was one comment that was really bad, and I'll show it up right here and I'll edit it just a touch because it's definitely not safe for work or anywhere else. But it made me laugh. And I just encourage people to watch that full video to really get the insight into what I was trying to do, which was basically tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic poke at anybody who rips on anybody else's bike. It's basically what I was doing with the Sporty. And if you've been following this channel for a while, I threw out all the cliches of anybody who would say why you shouldn't ride a Sporty. And I was laughing along the way, and I'm pretty well known on this channel for being a terrible actor, but I guess I just stepped up my game during that video. So this video here is going to be about why I am not going to get rid of this Sporty, why I will never sell this Sporty. And another comment actually spurred my decision to make this video. On my tank lift video, I got a comment about how the tank lift looks ugly and it destroys my resale value. And I thought, wow, it's my bike. I love the way it looks. And I'm never selling this bike. Let's get into it in just a second. But first, let's get to this. Hey, my name is Joe, and on this channel, I like talking about motorcycles, taking you along in my travel adventures, and how freaking amazing life is. Speaking of travel adventures, 4 weeks from now, 4 short weeks, is the Midwest Moto Meetup. RSVPs are filling up awfully quick, and I'm guessing probably by the end of this month, it's mid-August now, by the end of this month, there's not going to be any spots left. And if you like any one of those 3 things I mentioned earlier, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, and click on that bell icon so you know when I upload videos just like this. So for the first reason, I think it's a really good idea to get out on the road, actually talk to you while I'm on the bike. The first reason I will not sell my Harley Iron 883. Let's go.
So the first big reason I will never sell my Iron 883 is because it's my primary form of transportation. Right now I am commuting to work, and my commute is roughly, depending on the route, roughly 10 miles or so. And I have ridden this bike to and from work in a lot of different conditions. My good friend KidMoto22 has got a channel on YouTube. He's going to be at the Midwest Moto Meetup coming up, gosh, in 5 weeks right now. But he found my channel because he was suffering through a miserable winter. He wanted to find a rider who was riding through winter, and during the winter of 2017 and 2018, I rode this bike through the winter in as cold temperatures as -6, which wasn't a very long ride at all, to warmer winter temperatures in the 40s. And some of you are asking, well, how did you protect your bike from all the road salt? And I use this anti-corrosional stuff, the spray, CF50, and it did the trick. My bike, with the exception of a few bolts, stayed rust-free. I've also ridden my bike to work in a lot of other conditions, some really good, some not so good. My low-side crash in October of 2017 occurred on my ride back from work. I had what's called new rider confidence. I had been riding for 6 months, had all the confidence in the world in my abilities without all the skill. Definitely gained some skills since then. I've ridden in the heat. I've even ridden in the snow a few times while snow was coming down. So it's definitely been my primary form of transportation these last 2.5 years. So I'm gonna head the rest of the way to work, but let's take you to another reason why I will never sell my Harley Iron 883. So another reason I chose this bike is the style. I mean, it's 60-year-old style wrapped up in 30-year-old technology. This Evolution engine, it's cliched by this point, but it's true. That damn thing is bulletproof. Absolutely 100% bulletproof. I've only had this bike for 2.5 years. I put on 23,500 miles on this thing in those 2 years. And the only things that I've had going wrong with it were my fault. And that was the axle adjustment bolt snap because I didn't inspect my bike. And that's it, you know? I mean, the belt guard came off. But other than that, I have not had any issues at all with the engine or with the bike itself. The thing has been amazing. There's something to be said of older technology. This air-cooled engine, it's simple, right? It's easy to work on, it's easy to figure out. You do need to keep up on the maintenance, but that maintenance is not challenging. I've worked on water-cooled DOHC motorcycles, and compared to this bike, compared to this technology, that was a lot more of a challenge to wrap my brain around it. This bike I can work on. This bike I can fix. This bike is going to last me a long, long time. And the style, man, I pulled into a parking lot the other day. There was a cabbie outside of his cab smoking a cigarette, and he said, "Nice bike, man. I love those old bikes." And I just looked at him and smiled, and I said, "It's a 2017. Obviously, I've done some things to this bike to make it look more retro than it was off the line. But yes, Harley has done a good job off the line making this bike look like an old school bobber. But the things that I've done to even make it look more retro, the sissy bar, the lifted tank, the high flow air filter, the exhaust, the Bitwell chumps, all of that stuff makes it look much, much older than it actually is. And the way I've ridden this bike, it's so dirty right now. It just looks like an old bike. Like it's been through some stuff. And it has. 23,000 miles on this thing across the country, all over the Driftless region. This bike has been through some things, so it makes it look a little bit more older. And I like it that way. Let's go to the next one. This is a great segue. So the next reason I will not sell my Iron 883 is its versatility. So I'm riding around right now in some pretty suburban environments. Not a whole lot of traffic, a little bit of construction, and I'm getting along just fine. You know, I'm shooting between 35 and 50 miles an hour on some roads, depending on where it is. I'm having a lot of fun ripping from light to light. But this bike is just as good in heavy urban environments as it is in suburban environments, as it is on country roads. You just got a lot of different options as to where you can ride this bike. And one of the best things that you'll see in just a moment is what I like the most about it. So the way this bike is geared with a 29-tooth sprocket, this bike just rips. Gets me out of danger, puts me in a good position to get away from cars if I need to, if I feel unsafe. And it's a great throttle thrusting, push your ass all the way to the back of the seat. Hell of a good time. And the next one, actually, as we enter into the edge of the Driftless region here, is riding on country roads is where I love to take this bike the most. Let's get a little deeper into the Driftless region and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So here, in the heart of the Driftless region, there are some great hills, some great twists, and some great turns. And as you'll hear while I'm riding along, I'm not staying in one gear. This isn't your riding in a straight line along the super slab, stay in 6th gear type of riding. No, I am bouncing around. That was a funny coincidence right there. I am bouncing around between 3rd, 4th, and 5th gear. Sometimes, depending on the turn, I am in 2nd gear. I'm the type of rider that really likes to push those RPMs so I can get the most out of this bike. And I don't just do it on this bike, I do it on other bikes too. Some might say when I ride other bikes and I'm pushing those RPMs, I'm misusing that transmission. But for this Iron 883, to really push those RPMs, to get this thing to move where you want it to go to, it's the way to ride this bike. I also use the transmission to do engine braking, to slow the bike down in certain circumstances. So I'll drop a gear just to like have that engine slow my speed down. Oh man, it's so beautiful out here. I get such a big smile every time I ride out here. Now I haven't ridden a larger bike than this Sporty in the Driftless region. Someday I will. But I'm not sure that I would enjoy, oh my God, it's so beautiful out here. Sorry. I'm gonna be saying that a lot while I'm out here. I love it out here on this bike. But I don't think I'd enjoy riding a Softail Heritage or a ginormous Road King in these twists and turns as much as I do my Sporty. You just can't replace this. You can't replace how lightweight and nimble this bike is. I think even with the new Softails, as nimble as those are, it's still not as nimble as the Sporty. I can just really rip on these roads. I mean, I'm going 65 through a lot of these turns here, comfortably and confidently. And when I approach a turn where I feel I need to cut my speed a bit, I do a little bit of braking, either with the brakes or with engine braking, drop a gear, like I'm doing now, and pull on the throttle a bit just to get a little bit more oomph. So here is another reason why I like this Harley Iron 883. I'm getting on the interstate now, and a lot of guys, they decide to step into a different bike because they feel they need that sixth gear. They feel like their bike can't handle the interstate. And honestly, I feel pretty comfortable. I'm going 65 right now, and I'm at 3,400 RPMs. I could jump up to 70 and not feel very many vibrations. I'm at 38 right now. I could jump up to 75, and here I'm at 4,000 RPMs. And for me, it's likely just because I'm used to it. But I know a lot of guys, they don't like a Sportster because they want to ride more highway miles. And I don't blame some guys for that decision. For me, I won't sell it because I am comfortable on that interstate with this bike. Are there more comfortable bikes or better bikes for interstate riding? Hell yeah, that Heritage is looking mighty fine to me when I want to do some serious highway miles. But I've figured out how to ride this bike on the interstate. And here I am again in an urban environment, or approaching one anyway. The bike can go from an urban environment to suburban, country roads, interstate, and now back into an urban environment. That versatility is amazing. So the next reason has a lot to do with that versatility. Let's take it into the garage and talk more about that.
Hey, we're back in the garage now. Let's talk to you about a few more reasons why I will not sell my Harley Iron 883. And I talk a lot about these reasons in a full video that I did about a year ago or so. It's titled Harley Iron 883 Full Review. I'll have some links up here and links down below for that video. It's one of the more popular videos on this channel, so definitely check it out. But I'll touch on a few of those reasons as they apply to the reasons why I won't sell this. And I touched on them already. 6-year-old style, wrapped in 30-year-old technology. Really easy bike to work on. Really easy bike to understand. Couple that with my service manual, I can do anything on this bike to service it, to repair it, or to mod it. It's really the ideal canvas for that. And as you can see, I've done a few things. I've talked a little bit about this, the tank lift, the sissy bar, the highway bar, the handlebars, all this stuff, it's a modder's dream. And I spend a lot of time inside this garage working on this bike. Not only just turning the bike into something that fits me and my personality, but boosting my confidence in the garage. Prior to working on this motorcycle, my mechanical skills were strictly involved in cycling and bicycles. Over the last 2.5 years, I've taught myself how to wrench on this bike. In every YouTube video in which you see me modding, repairing, or servicing this bike is something that I taught myself. And that confidence boost it's something that you just can't trade for anything else. You dive in, you roll your sleeves up, you get to work, and you get it done, and it's such a confidence booster. So another reason is, and I talk about this in a lot of my videos, in some circumstances, riding a Harley Iron 883 is a challenging experience. Riding a motorcycle in general is a challenging experience. That's what makes it so much fun. But this bike in particular, traveling from Chicago to Flagstaff, Arizona, along Route 66 and back, that was not an easy trip, but that's what made it so much fun. And I documented that in the Route 66 series, and I had so much fun traveling along and meeting so many interesting people along the way. And that challenge, that's the way to travel, guys. Challenging yourself, trying to figure out how far you can push yourself and how far you can challenge yourself. It makes you feel more alive. It makes sitting at that desk or heading into work early in the morning that much easier. So me and this bike here, we've been through quite a bit together. She's part of me. I'm part of her. It's an extension of my personality because of how I modded it, but she's also an extension of my personality because of the trips that I've taken on her over the last 23,000 miles, over the last 2.5 years. It's not unlike an old cowboy and his old horse. The love that I have for this bike is no different than that. And I'll do everything in my power and skills to keep this bike on the road. And hopefully many more trips with her. And the last one is something that's pretty meaningful to me and a lot of you who are part of the community on this channel. Obviously, the reason for this channel is this bike, but this channel brought together a lot of really cool people. I've met so many great friends because of this bike. I don't get emotionally tied to a lot of objects, a lot of stuff. I have a minimalist perspective in life. That's probably why I ride a Harley Iron 883. But I don't get emotionally tied to cars, computers, or TVs. Yeah, I like cool things and I get a little obsessed with camera equipment now, but I just don't get emotionally tied to them. This bike is the one exception, and it always will be. If not for this bike, this community would not have grown as well as it has, and that excites me. And the Midwest Moto Meetup is in 4 weeks, and I'm so excited to see a lot of you guys and gals there. It's gonna be a ton of fun. As always, guys, ride safe, be kind, and keep your wheels rolling in the right direction. I'll see you in the next video.